Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories, and we use the rules of role-playing games to keep those stories oh so high drama. This episode is Act 1 of Vigil Shadowfall, one of our main house productions. If you're just joining us for the first time, Act 1, any Act 1, is a perfect place to start. The main house is where we stage ongoing serial stories with characters and plots that develop and unfold over several productions. Vigil is our current ongoing main house production. It tells the story of the outsiders and weirdos who step up to defend their neighbours from monsters and worse after the government cuts their town's official team of paranormal investigators. To create this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. Shadowfall is the 13th instalment in Vigil. Now, you don't need to be caught up on all the other instalments to enjoy this story, but if you do specifically want to know how Harper and Gwynned brought a tinge of colour to the black and white world of Shadow, you can check out Vigil Chief Exec. In the meantime, please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Shadowfall, Act 1 of 5.
Let's meet the players for this main house production.
Hi, I'm Helen. In Vigil, I play Melody Bantham, the Constructed. Most recently in Vigil, I was in Dream Big. And most recently on Merely Role Players, I was in the lovely Labyrinth.
Hello, I'm Strat. I play Briar, the Monstrous, in our Vigil series. And you would have also heard me in the lovely Labyrinth game. That was lovely. And also probably in the last series. Maybe. We haven't recorded it yet because of stuff. So maybe I didn't turn up.
Time is a flat circle.
Hello. I was thinking about Schroeder's cat and Briar and cat and... never mind. This is my brain. Hello. I'm Marta. I play Harper the Searcher on Vigil. You would have last heard me an age ago in Chief Exec. And outside of Vigil, I was last in For the Queen.
Hi, I'm Nat. I play Gwynned / the Morrigan in Vigil, which you would have last heard her in Ill Wind, the previous one. Mm-hmm. It's been a delightful time. It's fine. Everything's fine.
How are we all feeling about the game today? How are we feeling about this combination of characters?
I'm excited. I've had a chance to play with Melody. It's been years since Briar and Gwynned have appeared on air together, and I'm curious to see what Harper's been up to.
It's an interesting. I think it's the most balanced group. I've had since, because the first one was a disaster. It was like massive battle, and everyone is weak except for Gwyn, and that went as it went. And then for the second one, was it a lot of like intelligent people also? What happened with this? We were also really unbalanced and unprepared for what we needed in that one. But yeah, you've always like been there to save the day, thank God.
Jumping
So I'm
onto the
counting on you.
Gwyn jumps into the front line, gets walloped.
Yeah, it's like
Nearly
you
dies
can't
every time.
her. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Whereas I'm really pleased that your character is here because I haven't played with a group with anybody that's really good at working stuff out. So we've all turned up really tooled up and ready to go and going,
No pressure.
so what we doing?
What's the monster? Where's the monster? Is there a monster?
Whoever is doing the rota is not.
Matt and Ellie.
Oh, no, but I mean like the hunter's rota.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The in-world rota. I assume that's how it works with
Yeah,
who ends
of
up
course.
fighting what monster.
We
I don't
just
know.
draw names from a hat.
Yeah, whose turn is it on the chore wheel, the monster wheel? Well, we'll see how this goes. Maybe it is balanced, but who knows? That doesn't
TPK.
necessarily mean things are going to
Wait,
go well. We'll find
Do
out.
we have anyone who is cool?
Absolutely
one.
not.
-1.
0.
I am the coolest with a 1.
So cool.
Flash.
That may be our downfall if we have to do any persuading.
The cool thing is act under pressure and help out. Two things Briar is notoriously bad at. So
Well, with all of that, do we feel like we're ready to play?
Yes, boss.
Millions of stars are visible in the night sky because the town of Sheridan is still without electricity. There are no street lights on. The lights out of the windows of houses and buildings are just the flickers of candlelight. And so for the first time in many hundreds of years, perhaps, the full night sky is visible over the Rosebriar Forest. And those stars look down upon a strange tree. Kind of a pair of strange trees, but we'll zoom in on one particular one. The one that marks the grave of the Winter King. And at this tree we find Gwynned, the Shieldmaiden,
Hello.
who is also the Half-Mother, who is also the Forest Hag, who is all three parts of the triple goddess, the Morrigan, appearing in her aspect as Gwynned the Shieldmaiden right here at the tree, but as the voice of the Forest Hag echoes in her head. It's one you owe us, sister, one you owe me. Bring me bark from the tree that marks the grave of the Winter King. I need it for a concoction for what's to come.
And what is to come?
You know better than all of us, sister.
Oh, that what's to come. All right, fine. Yeah, okay.
The other strange gnarled tree just across the clearing is the home of this forest's protector spirit, Briar. What's Briar's reaction to seeing the Morrigan arrive here and start to interfere with the tree that marks the Winter King's grave?
it's night time, isn't it?
Yep.
Gwyn's about to get bothered by bats.
She's appeared very moodily, like cloud of feathers and dark smoke.
Yeah, and to match that, a vast horde of bats, only one of which is real and is Briar, will descend upon you and you'll say, "Oi! Stop it! Stop it! What are you doing?
Briar,
Go God somewhere else! This is my forest!"
we require some of the bark. These days, as part of her role of goddess, is kind of living up to people's expectations of what that looks like. So,
Blow up.
yeah. So Gwyn always had the long, dark, curly hair. Is sort of somewhat controlled in a sort of rooty, metally, filigree sort of tiara situation that's sort of scraping some of it back. Swaths of black, silky fabric brought together in a sort of torque choker situation, billowing fabric. It's all very Wuthering Heights kind of Kate Bush inspired, but a goth version, but with still like the breastplate over the top, no visible flaming staff, and wings. At the moment, there's kind of no need to hide them anymore, I guess. So the glamour doesn't need to be there. So yeah, full on angel-style wings, but black and green mottled feathers.
Does Gwyn drink coffee?
No?
I'm just wondering how overworked and underpaid, like how busy she looks. Because, I mean, you've gone from 10 to 1,000 pretty quickly. And I'm wondering, does that show if you're a god?
Oh, no, I think it's more in the flustered and the sort of exasperated attitude towards Briar. I mean, the skin is flawless.
Yeah, I was going to say, no need for concealer here.
So let's get the contrast from that grand gothic vision.
I appear in puka form sat on a branch. A 3-foot tall green pixie wearing only a smock, totally Donald-ducking it, and has chosen to appear sat on a branch, so their crotch is eye level to Gwyn. They have no genitals, but the choice of doing that won't have gone amiss to Gwyn. It was very intentional. We'll cross their legs.
What need have you of the bark of this tree?
What do you mean, need? One does not need bark of trees. Bark of trees is just here. This is my forest. You take something from my forest, Gwen. You know this very well.
Gwen.
Did I say Gwen?
Yes.
I always thought you were called Gwen. I'll just call you Murray. Murray. That's a lovely name. Murray. Gwen.
You do remember the situation going on with Graham, yes?
Yes. He's been a very naughty boy.
He has, and the bark will help with that, apparently.
Well, that may be, but you take something from my tree, from my forest, and the Morrigan is going to owe the forest a favour, aren't they?
The wings spread out. You dare try and make a fey pact with me!
2 little raven wings just pop out the side of Briar and go, don't have to try, it's just the law. Gods aren't above the law.
I am mother of fey now, Briar.
Yeah, so guess what? You are very much attached to it. Just like I can't get out of any deal or any obligation of fairy, I think you might find that you're just as stuck as me. So how about you take your little bit of bark, and then when the forest needs a favour, I come a-calling.
We've actually triggered a move. Nat, can you roll plus charm, please?
Oh, no.
Gwynned wants something from Briar, and Briar is sort of naming a price, and so we are doing the manipulate someone move.
-1 to charm.
Oh,
very
what have we
nice.
got there?
Wait, which one is
First
it?
roll of the game,
Yeah.
and it is a 12 on the dice.
Oh dear.
For an 11.
Because Gwyn's rolled a 10 plus, if Briar lets her do this without exacting a price, then Strat, you get to mark experience and get +1 forward on your next roll.
Sorry, rules are rules.
Strat cares not for XP. You know I know better than to accept an open-ended deal, Sprite.
Well, how about you offer me something you think I would like more specifically, and if I think that's better than an open-ended deal, we shake wings.
Do you want to come down for a cuppa?
Is that your offer?
Yes, you're clearly in need of attention.
I can get attention whenever I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Look, just gets a dagger out and starts hacking at the bar.
Hey! You do that, you're going to end up with the open-ended one.
I didn't sign anything.
You don't-
Nor agree, nor shake wings.
But you're taking something from the forest. You have to give something back.
I am part of the forest now, am I not?
So? It's my forest! And you went and he went and everyone's gone and now you're here trying to take a bit of it and go away. You didn't even bother to come and knock on the door and say hello before you started. No, just walk up to my tree the size of my great fig tree, get a knife out, hack at it. I thought we were friends. Everyone's gone away.
I am sorry, Briar. I have been distracted.
At the same time, as the Shieldmaiden is here having this conversation with Briar, the Hearth Mother is in a cave elsewhere in the forest that is also in Fairyland, tending to her cauldron. And so, unfortunately, as Gwynned says, she's been distracted of late. Nat, can you roll your Boss from Beyond move for us, please? Plus
Right.
weird.
Look here, dice. You just did me really well. Okay? This move has never... Oh, okay. So that is an 11 again.
Is that a full success?
That
on
is
Lost
a
from
full
Beyond?
success.
Blimey.
Gwyneth really is growing into her
Here we go.
power.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here.
I was going to say, we're using it up right now.
So this is the move that tells us sort of what Gwyn's followers want from her this session. And on a full success, they still want something, but it's relatively simple.
Yeah.
It's a really relatively simple ask. Steam issues from the cauldron. It's not that images actually form in the steam, but the Hearth Mother reads the patterns in the steam, much like reading tea leaves. She reads a familiar pattern. A pattern that has some resonances for Gwyn. She reads the steam and it speaks to her of the former mayor of Sheridan. Member of the English Sorcery Guild and former mayor Jackie Dambrook calls to the Morrigan for aid.
Does she now?
The Hearth Mother, half in a trance, speaks of what she reads. Our former adversary, the adversary of your predecessor, sister, something has been taken from her. Her shadow. She has lost her shadow. And she fears what will happen when the sun comes up and she cannot cast a shadow. Her sorcery tells her that if she casts no shadow, logically, she must not be there to cast one. She fears she will fade away into nothingness when dawn comes. She asks for your aid, our aid, in recovering what was lost to her. So this voice is happening in Gwyn's head. She is aware of this happening at the same time as this conversation is happening with Briar.
Briar just sees her glaze over slightly. As she said, I've been very distracted.
Oi, I'm here. Look at me. I'm crossing his legs. Crosses them back over the other way.
Why would you? Do you want to go on a mission?
What mission?
Do you remember the mayor?
No.
Okay, well, the one that did all the policies that affected the National Trust.
Oh. Yeah, the one that thought they could tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And then apparently I had to do it.
Well, she wants something from me.
Okay.
So do you want to come along?
Can I have fun with her?
We'll see.
Okay.
Offers a hand in exchange for the bark.
Oh, you really are a mother of the forest now, aren't you? Oh, go on then.
A wingy hand.
Becomes a frog and licks it with a big tongue.
Delightful. Do you want some fudge as well?
Ribbit.
Okay. Fudge for the frog. Takes a piece of bark. Also, it sounds like there's something wrong with her shadow, so I think I know who we need to call in to help out with this.
Ribbit.
The same stars that look down on the forest also look down on Market Street, the historic high street of Sheridan. Any light is coming from car headlights, from firelight flickering in some shop windows or in the windows of flats above the shops, and from the occasional... There's one or two solar-powered street lights that Voop Regeneration managed to install as part of the redevelopment of the high street before they lost all their CO and their funding and everything. So there's occasional bits of light around. I feel like the most warmth is coming from the window of Melodies, the cafe on Market Street, where we find both Melody and Harper. What's going on with Melodies these days, and what's going on specifically tonight?
Running a cafe without electricity is difficult, and Melody's energising force of music is not as straightforward to obtain, but, you know, music is older than electricity, so it's not impossible. I think this evening, in addition to Harper and Melody, we've got Moss there singing on loan from
Cute.
Briar.
Moss being a tall troll made of moss-covered boulders with a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah, Melody's relying on the low light to mean that people aren't looking carefully.
It's cosplay.
Yeah, it lines up.
Maybe it's a local art installation in the corner or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe just the three of them singing quietly. Maybe Harper is trying to read something by a head torch or some such.
Desperately trying to finish a paper for school.
Mm-hmm.
Literally writing pen and paper, which she might have never done
Disgusting.
in her life
Yeah,
before.
gross.
Yeah, I don't even know how to hold one of these things. My fingers hurt. I don't get it. I hate it.
By head torch and candlelight. It's got this kind of like quite nice, cosy sort of trad night vibe. Soft acoustic music being played in the corner and cosily sort of sitting and working on things or chatting.
Melody is human female looking, has a lot of tattoos and dresses sort of pokey, sort of alt. The cafe is bare walled, lots of plants, hand painted furniture, upcycled job, and it is vitally also a music shop. So there's music for sale in all forms, tapes, vinyl, wind up gramophones now. I think she's dug one or two back out. Maybe she's been to some antiques fairs, and that's probably because there's interest from people that don't have electricity, but also because she needs them as her energizing force, because she's not human. She's a sort of made creature from other people's body parts.
Harper looks like a very unhappy, underslept, Gen Z North American teenager. Not a teenager. Is she a teenager? She might be 20 right now. The way I described her was whenever Billie Eilish gets papped, that's just how she looks. She's got this like perennial look that teeters between disdain and sleepiness. A general disinterest in the world. Lime green hair with now very black roots, dressed head to toe in black. She's got, ripped jeans, docks, angry t-shirt, dusty old coat from a second-hand shop that is too big for her, and a masculine cut. She does move around in a Ducati bike, so she's got her helmet with her as well. And she's desperately trying to do some coursework. She does have all her machines with her, multiple. She usually lugs around a laptop, a tablet, a phone, and probably some form of like MP3 player. Because she's retro like that.
Dedicated MP3 player.
Yeah, listen, it's not like I miss my iPod or anything. She's miserable. She's been like, without electricity.
She's almost got this look of like she is Gwynn's Dorian Gray portrait. Gwynn's glowing, and Harper is just showing like all of the eye bags that Gwynn isn't showing.
Yeah. She is gloom personified.
And it might be difficult for other people to notice casually in the flickering candlelight, but also Harper doesn't cast a shadow.
She does not. No. Hers seems to have a mind of its own and comes and goes as it pleases. God fucking damn it. Why is he still singing? I need peace of quiet and light. Sombra, are you sure, like 100% that you can't conjure light? I don't know, by any chance. That's a thing?
That's sort of the opposite of what I do, old sport.
Yeah, that's okay.
Disembodied voice that is only Harper hearing this at this point?
I think so, yeah.
A slightly different voice to how Sombra has sounded before. Sombra's still taking a bit of time to recover from their war wound and is sort of seems to be playing that up in the character that they take. Sombra's personality has always been a little bit weirdly warped because they come from this noir detective world and has been imported to England, which has much more like cozy detective vibes, and now seems to be leaning into the like certain portrayals of John Watson, like leaning on his cane from his war wound kind of thing.
Bloody BBC show just ruined my life. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually kind of miss Shadow World. Yeah, I don't want to think about that, but yeah.
I knew we'd turn you round on the place in the end, old sport.
Yeah, all we needed was undefined amount of time without electricity. Who knew?
Look, it's always a long journey to accepting your destiny.
Sure. Melody,
Yes.
could I get another matcha latte, please? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Diane is out front of Melodies, basking in the moonlight, which is her animating force.
Ah, wonderful. I was wondering about her.
Yes, Diane is another constructed person, constructed by the same creator as Melody. In fact, she was a commission. She was constructed to lead the hunt, which is why she's powered by moonlight. Because that would be when she would need to do all of her work.
That tracks. Mm-hmm.
So she's very similar to Melody in a lot of ways, but different animating force, and also, whereas all of Melody's, when Melody separates her body parts, it's always very clean, very bloodless. If Diane takes off her head, blood goes everywhere.
Great.
Yuck.
So Diane finishes her moon bath and comes back into the shop. And anybody whose attention is drawn to the front of the shop might spot, just in a brief glimpse across the street, in the headlights of a car that is just starting back up, the headlights flicker on, a silhouette, or it's difficult to tell in the sort of the doubled light of the headlights, maybe multiple silhouettes, just cast briefly against the opposite shop on the high street. Broad-brimmed trilby-type hat, long coat, and then it flickers out and disappears again.
Did Sombra notice? Hey, did you by any chance just notice anything weird?
I might have done. It looked a little familiar, didn't it?
I'm sorry, what?
It looked a little nostalgic, if even, perhaps.
What did you see? I'm so sorry. This paper is killing me. What, did you see something? What just happened?
Wonder if somebody else is here from the old place.
Oh shit. How did that not occur to me? That's Melody.
Yes. Are you all right? What's happening?
I'm not 100% sure. We might have a situation in our hands. I don't even know what type of situation.
Okay.
Do we have any more light? Perchance?
And then Melody would sort of head to under the counter and be trying to rummage around for more candles. Be like, I've got a few more tea lights, but I'm not going to make a huge amount more light. I'm really sorry. Are you struggling with your essay?
Well, yeah. But no, torch. Do we have a torch? She looks at her phone, sadly, and her 38% battery. Like, do we no like battery operated flash torches? Torches? That's what you call them here, right?
Yeah. No, I lent it to Briar. I'll never get it back.
Yeah, that's not shocking. So I think Harper's gonna do the thing, and she's just gonna take her phone, turn on the flashlight on it, and just briefly walk to the door and open the door and just kind of like, just like do a little pass, just in case anything shows up. And it's like, Sombra, just keep your eyes open, and if there's anything that you see, you let me know. Okay.
Sombra, who has been speaking to you from pools of shadow under tables and that sort of thing, slithers out from under the table where Harper's been sitting and reattaches to Harper. So Harper actually is casting a shadow now, it appears, in the moonlight coming in from outside the shop. Harper sort of shines the torch around outside. Nothing. And then Moss finishes a song, shifts slightly. He obviously casts a huge, great shadow against the back wall, although he's tucked into a corner. And just as he shifts, knocks a table, the firelight in the candle kind of flickers briefly and flares up. And shadows are cast on the walls of the cafe that are not being cast by any being in there. 5 shadows on the walls around the walls of the cafe, all seemingly silhouettes of men in fedoras and long coats. Everybody do what we say and nobody gets hurt, okay?
I don't know if Diane's going to really know what that means because she's quite new.
Yeah.
So
This is not something she's had much kind of training in.
no, yeah, she was 3 months old when she was last on air with us. So I don't know, if she's watched a lot of Westerns in that time, she might understand. But
I think she just looks to Melody
Yeah.
and goes, what's happening and what do I do?
Diane, I think we should both sit down. Keep your hands visible, right? It doesn't matter if they're on your shoulders or whatever. Just make sure that they're not going anywhere and they can be seen, okay?
The candlelight flickers and the outlines of all of the interloper shadows shift, and they are now holding the shadows of Tommy guns. And they say, nobody sit down. Everyone up on your feet and gather round that candle in the middle of the room there.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So Harper, after maybe the world's most intense eye roll to have ever been recorded in human history, turns off the flashlight on her phone. It's like, oh, fuck me, that's 10% gone for no reason. Turns around, looks into the cafe, looks at the shadows. Melody, Diane, would you mind maybe just come stand outside behind me? I'll just open the door. Just, please, just...
None of yous are going anywhere. Plaster rains from the ceiling as bullet holes stitch across the ceiling of the shop.
Oh.
The bullet damage seems incredibly real, despite the fact that all the bullets are just shadows, lines of shadows streaking up the walls of the cafe.
That's new and different. Okay.
This
let's
is where
just...
I am as well. I don't know what's happening. I'd like to know what's happening.
We'll figure it. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. I know the type.
I would describe this as a bad situation, which, if either of you would like to read, you would be very welcome to.
I mean, yeah, because I have an idea about what to do, but I don't know if it'll be fast enough before they start shooting us with shadow bullets.
What's your plus sharp?
It is 3. That's what I'm here for. These were the ones you used.
They've been good to me.
To you. I'm just afraid that you've used up all the good mojo in
There's
them.
more here if you'd like.
No, we'll try them out and see what happens. And it's like, do they have favourites? Indeed they do. That's a 6.
Plus 3.
Plus 3, so that's a 9.
Okay, you get one question from Read a Bad Situation.
Either what's not my best way out, but their best way out, or what's the best way to... They're not victims yet, but what's the best way to protect the normies?
Harper's exactly the right person to be taking on this situation. Harper sort of understands what is, like, the mechanics of this better than a lot of other people would, having experience of this, and obviously Sombra can help out here as well. The best way to protect the victims, you were asking for more light earlier to try and, like, shed light on what are these shadows, where are they, what's casting them. Harper's mind goes to the opposite.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, blowing out candles. That was what I wanted to do.
If there's no light, you can't
There's
cast
no shadow.
shadows.
Yeah.
So the best way to protect the victim is put all these candles out as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah. My thought is, like, can I do it faster than them shooting us? I think I might just nudge Sombra with my feet. Lights out. And Sombra's like, this is me. I'm the cool shadow that shows up in the world and touches things. Who the hell are these guys coming into my gig? Like, screw you.
Yeah. So all of these 5 gangster shadows are leveling their shadow Tommy guns at all of your shadows and going, get around that candle in the middle of the room right there, as Harper nudges Sombra and leaps into action. Roll plus cool. We're going to do act under pressure. To answer that exact question are Harper and Sombra faster
The bullets. Shadow bullets.
Than these shadows?
Yeah, cool is a cool 0. Oh god. You know, that's a 6.
I'm willing to try and help and then spend luck if that's going to make enough of a difference.
Because we're on a 6, if Melody can successfully help, we can bump this to a mixed success instead of a failure.
Because I figure I've heard lights out, and I've got 4 hands, effectively, that can move.
These feet.
I am -1, which is why I've mentioned the spending of luck, but we'll just give it a
Melody's
crack.
rolling the help out move, which is also plus cool.
Okay. I've got an 8 down to a 7.
So on a mixed success on help out, you can give Harper +1, which turns that failure into a mixed success. But you also expose yourself to some sort of trouble or danger in the process of helping.
That's fine, yeah. Melody is stepping towards the candle in the centre because, like, appearing to follow the instruction initially, then there's other candles, say, on the counter or on other tables. But because she's using her hands at speed, she's basically throwing her hands, and then they'd have to try and land and be in the right place. So that seems like a risky thing. Diane maybe does similar, or just sort of lunges in a different direction and blows something out.
The only way for Harper to move quickly enough is to do the trick with Sombra, but essentially envelops her and kind of moves her around faster than a person should. But when it comes to dealing with the fire, I think there's going to be a combination of the air they produce whilst moving, which we already used this the first time when we were fighting the paper people and they were on fire. And I was like moving around to like...
You're actually fanning the flames.
Fanning the flames.
Now we're trying to flicker them out.
I was like, this is becoming a signature move for us. But also probably just like fully using her hands, trying to put off the wicks just with her fingers. So she's going to end up with a bit like charred fingertips, which is fine. It's not like I needed them for writing.
It doesn't hurt.
But she doesn't know what she's doing. She's like, whatever.
Lick your fingers first, it's fine.
Sure. I think there's a bit of, collateral damage. Tables, things just being thrown around. There's like a mini hurricane happening inside this room just to get everything.
Yeah. Melody takes this one step towards the candle in the middle of the room, appearing to comply, and then Harper just sort of drops through the floor into her own shadow. Suddenly the vinyl sleeves and everything are kind of rattling, whipping in this unnatural wind that suddenly appears in the shop, almost like a little whirlwind. All of the candles go out, hands everywhere. Melody's and Diane's hands both sort of fly off and start to snuff out candles. Harper's doing the same thing. If you know what's good for... As the cafe is suddenly dark, there are no shadows being cast, and the two of you are just there in still darkness as Moss starts gently singing again in the corner.
Harper, something's going on with the shadows.
No shit!
A preternaturally fast frog bounces through the window.
Without breaking it.
Turns into a buka. Hey, something's going on with some shadows.
Yes.
Just so many voices in the darkness.
It's a bit dark in here. I'll get Aurora.
Sombra, can
Aurora.
you punch the pixie, please?
Wait, Harper's been possessed.
Actually, Sombra, are you still around?
Still with you, old chap.
Fine. Interesting. Yes. Not kill. Punch the puka.
Whoa. But I had nothing to do with this. What do you know?
What do I know? I know that we don't have electricity, and apparently my lovely gang from the Shadow Realm is now here. And I was going to say queer. They're not. They're just shooting things for real. So...
Are they gone?
Well,
quarterstaff out as kind of pointing it around the room.
Yeah, we're not hanging out in the dark for shits and giggles. Let's just put it that way. Thanks, by the way. Still loving having no electricity.
Well, it sounds like I might have
No one
saved
cares.
everybody's life. Again.
Gwyn pulls out her quarterstaff. It bursts into flame.
No!
I was hoping you wouldn't remember that.
No light!
Briar had called Aurora as well, by the way.
Yeah, Aurora, who is...
A will-o'-the-wisp.
A will-o'-the-wisp, a little sort of point of marsh gas type light bounces in through the window as well. There's now light back in the cafe. No Fedora Tommy gun shadows.
Oh, thanks for
So
that.
that's the sort of the first thing, is the relief. Okay, It's just the shadows of the people that we expect to see, except we're one short. Melody is not casting a shadow.
All right, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere. I hope you enjoyed Act 1 of Vigil Shadowfall. You might have been expecting us to start a studio production this week, playing some game that isn't Monster of the Week in some world that isn't Sheridan. Well, surprise! We're doing 2 back-to-back main house productions because of behind-the-scenes scheduling reasons. We'll be back in the studio after this production. Right now there will be an interval of 2 weeks before we lift the curtain on Act 2 of Shadowfall. But don't worry, next week we'd like to invite you backstage for a chat with the cast about how their characters know each other and how the relationships might have changed since they last worked together. Before we head off for our interval ice creams and drinks, let's just take a quick look at the programme. I'm going to be at the UK Games Expo, 30th of May to the 1st of June at the NEC in Birmingham. If you're going to be there too, ping me on Blue Sky, I'm merely Matt over there, and let's see if our schedules align enough to meet up. Alternatively, I am running some role-playing game sessions, which you might be able to sign up to join. I'm running The Hunted by Loot the Room on the Friday. That one is already sold out, but who knows, there might be last-minute sign-ups on the day. I'm running Spindle Wheel by Sasha Renaud of Tea Cabbage Games on the Saturday morning. And on the final day, the Sunday, I'm running Bibliocalypse by All Eyes No Games. Head to foggyoutline.com/appearances for links to where you can sign up to join all of those tables if you're going to be at UK Games Expo. That link is also in the programme notes for this episode. That's all for now. Stay tuned for the credits and the outtakes, and we'll see you backstage next week. This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Marta da Silva as Harper, Natalie Winter as Gwynned, Helen Stratton as Melody, and Strat as Briar. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast. Editing and sound designer by me, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on.
Will I remember how to play this game? Number one.
You roll dice, you fail. Matt tells you something bad. We all cry and go home. That's
Yeah, nice and simple.
standard TTRPG.
Foggy Outline. Undivide your world.